Hello everyone, welcome to the ProPokePodcast. My name is ProPoke, but joining me again, once again, as always, for the 8th time. Again, we've done 8 episodes.
That's crazy.
I know.
At least I'm not glowing this time.
I don't need to remind you. I usually make it for 1,000,000 seconds, so I'm sure that hasn't passed yet. I don't know. I'm not going to do the time calculations in my mind. I'm just going to assume that it hasn't finished yet. So you're still glowing. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You are the chosen one that I can see through walls.
Apparently.
Yeah. This is the Pro Pokeball Week 5 analysis episode number 8. I should probably be saying episode number 8 because I don't think the Pro Pokeball is going to be the only thing on this podcast, or if it is, whoops. I don't know. How do people do this? I'm going to invent my own meta, Gamma. I'm going to do my own thing, and people are just going to catch on and take. And they're just going to be like, wow, you can be that crappy with labeling stuff and still be amazing.
Yeah, I know. You can start your own podcast, meta noob.
Whoa.
This episode can be episode 7.
Would you call it a metacast?
I'd like to submit my formal resignation to the ProPokePodcast.
You can't say that every time you're upset at something. Let's discuss this like adults. Or we could talk Pokemon. That's cool, too.
That works too, I guess.
I saw you leaning, you're like, okay, let's go now. Anyways, before we get into all the analysis, I would like to make a formal announcement. Another coach has unfortunately dropped out of the Pro Pokeball. Soto Dude of ToddSkyrimHoward has dropped due to real-life stuff getting in the way. He informed me, and deal is done. His Pokemon have been returned to Week 6, or returned to the pools for coaches to pick up Week 6. Actually, I think one of the coaches already scooped up one of his Pokemon, and we'll talk about that later. But first, let's talk about the 2 matches that happened in Week 5. The first one being I Am Groot versus Las Vegas Golden Lucarios. Gamma, you had an excellent analysis of this entire series. Can you provide the viewers with it, please?
Way to put me on the spot, noob. All right.
I always put you on. You always say stuff first. How is this putting you on the spot?
I don't know. I'm not ready for it every time.
We've done this 8 times now. 7 times plus.
I know it. I've not been ready at least 8 times.
But we've had to do multiple analysis, so it means that you're still kind of like only 25% not ready. That's a math. That's a math.
That's a math statistic. Statistic? Math statistic.
That's a Trisket. That's the statistic.
All right, well, I'm going to go back
Triscuits.
to my... I'd be down. Triscuits
You guys get Taco Bell, I'll take Triscuits.
No, Triscuits are good.
Triscuits are great,
especially the ones, like, rubbed with garlic and stuff, you know?
I had this, I think, was it a sun-dried tomato Triscuit? It was kind of gross, but then you put, like, your own garlic spread. No, it's good. The spices got to me, but you put your...
It's tomato!
No, but the thing is, it's like, because flaked tomato.
Tomato and basil. It's tomato and basil.
Yes, I know, but you see, when it's put on a cracker that already has flavoring to it, that got to me. Like if it was just a plain bread, it tastes weird too. But what really changed it was putting my own garlic spread on top of those with the tomato and basil taste, and that made it great.
Or making me hungry, please. Let's continue.
I'm just doing it myself. My bad. Hey, how did Coma and Sweet D do for you this week?
It was a little weird. The first match, Coma came out pretty strong. Stop. It's too bad this isn't a video podcast. You guys.
It's going to be eventually. That's the way of the future, man. I have to film video.
Honestly.
It's just both of us are running the greatest office-looking thing. We have the hats in the exact same spot on the shot, which is great.
I have a bowl of soup here.
You know what?
It's what?
While we're on the podcast, I'm going to do this right now. Gamma, I need you to pose for the camera, please. Just, like, we're gonna put the image up when the podcast releases. I'm posting the image so that when people listen to the podcast, I'm gonna say go to Twitter, go to Instagram, and you're gonna find this image. You ready? No, don't block the hat.
Hold on. I'm not.
Okay, let's set this up. Okay, hold on. Okay, we got there. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm just gonna show you right now.
Oh, please!
It's gorgeous.
I just got a shower, so I don't smell like garbage.
Well, luckily for us, no one smells through a camera.
Good. They don't. All right, back to the matches.
I mean, it was you. You got interrupted. It's your fault somehow.
Well, listen. Stop making weird faces, and then maybe I'll actually do the podcast.
My life is a weird face.
Oh god. But yeah, the first match between Las Vegas Golden Lucarios and I Am Groot. Coma had some pretty strong plays that Scizor and that Feeney just carried him through the match. He was able to set up when he needed to. He didn't have to worry about Hippowdon dropping the Whirlwind, not to bring those Pokemon out, reset the stats. But I believe Sweet D got his comeuppance in the next match.
Wait, Sweet D got his comeuppance?
In the next match.
No, no.
Wait,
the comeuppance usually
am I
means that they
saying words
lose.
wrong?
Yeah, comeuppance means that the other person like gets what they deserve, which
Oh,
I wouldn't argue. Well, at a certain point, yes, but
all right. Well,
technically, Coma got his comeuppance.
I'm bad at words. Okay,
It's okay.
there's a
I
reason
think
don't do
Thingamajiggy and
podcasts.
Didgeridoo are the same thing. Don't worry about it.
Oh, you mean the Vuvuzela?
No. Didgeridoo and Thingamajig. I used to think those were the same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, the didgeridoo, and people actually thought I was talking about a didgeridoo. No, I'm talking about it's like a thingamajig. I go, no, didgeridoo's a real thing. I go, what the heck's a thingamajig? It's a thingamajig.
It's like a horn.
Yeah, no, isn't that a more
Didgeridoo? No, didgeridoo is like a big horn, and it just
like what you would expect from the Ricola commercial, except Australian.
No, yes, maybe.
I think so.
Hold on,
it's not a
music.
It's not a music podcast. We don't have to be right.
All right,
continue with
forget
your analysis.
the podcast now, guys. No, I need to show Noob what a didgeridoo looks like.
Let's be real, okay? There wasn't a lot of content, so we have to waste time to make this long enough today. All right, there's only 2 battles, and we have to analyze the Super Week, which all 8 players are playing. So you have to understand, while Gamma is vividly and rigorously looking through Google to find me a picture of a didgeridoo, I am just going to continue to ramble. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's like the Ricola commercial, except Australian.
I don't know.
Isn't it Australian? It's an Australian instrument, right?
Didgeridoo is Australian, yes.
Australian, yeah, okay.
You could even ask Icy.
I'm not going to ask. The only thing I asked was for an Australian form when we go to Australia in like Gen 10 that we get boxing gloves on Mega Kangaskhan and the kid so that we could just be like Kangaroo Jack and his son. That's all I want. Wait, no. Jack was a female? No, it was a male, right? Kangaroo Jack was a male.
Kangaroo Jack was a guy, yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah, I was like...
But yeah, that second match, though.
Yeah, what about it?
Diego pulled through. He was able to stall it out and get to what his team's win condition is, staying alive more than the other Pokemon, which I think he did pretty well. But also it was a lot of back and forth. Coma wasn't able to keep the 2 Pokemon he needed to keep, the Scizor and the Feeney, and he wasn't able to set up because that Hippowdon was dropping the Whirlwinds like it needed to. And when it got to the point where he had his Cofagrigus, he had what else was it?
Celebi.
Yeah, Cofagrigus.
You're talking about when it was Terrakion, Blissey, and Suicune versus. It was those 3, right?
I think so.
No, game 2 it was Blissey, Honchkrow, and Crobat were left, and then he didn't. Yeah. Anyways, go.
Coma didn't have what it took to take out the Blissey. The Blissey was able to soak up everything that was coming towards it. I would like to make a shout out to Coma, though, for both matches, dropping very successful hazards along with the Toxic in the first match on that Hippowdon. So, good on you, bud. You got it.
I'm about to end everything Gamma just said. Career.
He's about to end my whole career.
Yeah, everything. Well, not your career. I just want to end everything you said's career.
All right, cool.
I think there's a big element in the room that needs to be mentioned about this match, and that was hacks. Huge element of hacks. Game 1 was ludicrous in the amount of ways that Sweet D kind of... It felt like RNG threw a harpoon at Sweet D and was trying to fish him up to gut him because the misses, the crits, everything like that really, 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 really threw off any semblance of analysis that we could officially make for Game 1. Having said that, there is one particular play that I want to look at, and this kind of brought a bit of controversy in Twitch chat when we saw it on stream, and that is the Terrakion coming in onto the Tapu Fini. And what we saw was Terrakion went for Rock Slide, not the close combat. Now, let me see if I can quickly go back and find the amount of HP that Feeny was at. It was basically low enough where he could have killed it off with any accurate move. He also had X Scissor, which was kind of seeable because, I mean, he has to deal with Celebi, and Celebi was a big deal for the likes of what Sweet D brought for Game 1, so it made sense that he'd have this type of coverage. Yeah, he was at 8%, so close combat was killing it, right? Fighting is resisted by Fairy, but who cares? When you're at 8%, nothing actually matters.
True.
The thing that worried me was, it's not the worst play, we just were curious as to what the reason for the Rock Slide was, because the Pokemon that could come in to threaten Terrakion, regardless if it was choiced, were Celebi and Kofagrigus, right? Klefki was gone, so you don't have to worry about that. But the main thing was Kofagrigus and Celebi, and both those don't care about Rock Slide anyway, so you're going to most likely make that switch into Blissey to handle that, because Blissey and Terrakion were kind of the MVPs, in my opinion, of being in this match, being able to have the pressure with Blissey block a lot of damage, and then you kept something like Gastrodon or even the Hippowdon alive to try and manage something like the Snorlax. Scizor had to get through a bunch of Pokemon. Suicune had a chance to burn, and I mean, that was another element of hacks we didn't see, where we just didn't see the burns happen on the Scizor when it was setting up in Game 1. But in the end, that was a really weird play to me, because you just had to dumpster the Tapu Fini knowing it was already set up and ready to win, but he opted for an attack that has accuracy checks. And the weird thing about, I mean, you're playing Pokemon, you have to worry about accuracy checks. So why did he go for that? It's hard to say, and honestly, I don't know what to make of it, because the thing that, when I look at this series, who it impacts more, the fact that Coma gained a point or that Sweet D lost 2 points, based on the race that was happening for 6th seed for Las Vegas Golden Lucarios versus race for the top 2, that I Am Groot kind of fell already behind him with dropping games here and there. I think this is a bigger impact for I Am Groot. This has a lot of implications. It's hard to tell by the points right now because of all the buys that we have in the tournament. But if I quickly grab the points here, it concerns me to see that he is currently sitting in 4th place with 12 points. Or sorry, 5th place with 12 points. Now, he hasn't played as, like, the number of games that he has, he's actually played. Actually, he's played the second most games. He's tied for the second most games played into the tournament. He's only got 4 left. So, you know, if he was someone who was, let's say, you know, Fortnite Ninjas, who has an extra game to still play, like him and Tyler Poke Trainer both have 5 games left to play. So if he had more games to play, it wouldn't be the worst implication. But when I see that the people who have played at the top, Manchester Manchester has played out 6, and they're at 15 points. Fortnite Ninjas has played 5, and they have 15 points. Traverse City Thunderous has 6 games played at 14 points. He has less games to catch up with, which means in order for him to go even and to catch up, he has to hope that somebody gets dropped to get that top 2. He's an entire series behind, like an entire 2-0 behind 2 or potentially 3 players who could try to vie to take points off of the other coaches, especially when they're playing against each other. I haven't done the full statistics yet because that's too difficult for me to manage myself, at the moment anyways. But actually, we were going to talk about the halfway mark implications. I think we're going to do that next week, because this week we have the Super Week where all 8 of them are playing. So after that, we'll tell with the number of games that are left what's actually going to be happening. We'll have a much bigger discussion around that, less around the battles. I think more around the what does the end of the season look like, because I like those types of discussions. Lots of predictions, because if it's anything like Gamma's. If it's anything like Gamma's fantasy draft, it's basically might as well put names in a hat and start drawing, because we've had some massive changes in terms of where everybody is in the standings. I'm sorry, you're looking at me like I'm wrong.
You're not.
I want you to go talk to the 5 other people. I'm look, okay? You were surprised, and we like surprises. We don't want things to be as standard as it looks. We don't mind having the winners continue to win and the people who are less experienced still building up a repertoire. But now we see the resurgence of the other team we're going to talk about eventually. But this is a big deal for I Am Groot. This is a really big deal. That was it. I don't know if it was a misclick or if it's just an oversight or whatever happened. It's Rock Slide too, so it had even more accuracy than something like Stone Edge. It's just it was a really weird play, but you do have to chalk a lot up to this to RNG, and that's not to take away from Coma. I think Coma actually did very well with taking the opportunities, because here's the thing, right? We've seen Coma honestly drop advantages that he was given through either RNG or drop when he had the advantage. He just kind of goes off goes off course, despite the fact that all he had to do was go straight and true and he was good to go. And the fact that he was able to abuse this, even no matter how much it was put into his lap, it's good to see that he continued forward and he sees the win condition. No matter how it happens, like we've said multiple times on this podcast and, our entire lives, it's Pokemon. Stuff happens, and as a result, when you know how to abuse it, you just go from there.
Yeah.
So, good on Coma in Game 1. Game 2, I think the biggest clincher, not expecting X-Scissor on Celebi. Yes, it kind of makes sense that you see Rock Slide, so it's like, okay, it's not Stone Edge, so I can tank it up. Close Combat's not going to be used. Earthquake's not going to be used. But the fact that, X-Scissor almost made complete sense, considering that if Coma pegged that Celebi was actually a huge issue for Sweet D, and the fact that Sweet D cannot see the Celebi coming. That's the thing about trades. You don't see the trades coming, so you can't actually ban those trades. And that's why trades are so strategic, because if there's something in the pool that players can use against you on the week, you have to suddenly go, oh, that's on his team now. What am I doing? Hey, it's a counter me. Similar to what Mega Aggron did for Shark King a couple of weeks ago. So he doesn't see it. He doesn't see it coming. Once he sees it, like, oh, I have to manage this. And Celebi's a fantastic pickup, not just for Coma against Sweet D, but for Coma in general. So he had that type of advantage, and to not expect something that would super destroy Celebi, knowing that Terracion's faster and stuff like that, bit of an oversight. But that also comes with, you have to be completely on top of everything that you're doing with that. But I think the big deal was the Kofagrigus was not pinned as a sweeper. It had double Ghost Moves, Shadow Ball, and Hex, which is a bit bizarre because I would have loved to see Nasty Plot Kofagrigus, and I think I called that out last week. I think I said a setup Kofagrigus would be great because it would bring a lot of pressure, considering Blissey can't really touch it. This Blissey could not touch it at all. It had Flamethrower, that's all it had. And if you had set up Nasty Plot, Terrakion wasn't going to do anything to it. Crobat was on the cusp of dying and doesn't want to get Will-O-Wisped. Like, Will-O-Wisp Hex made a lot of sense to me. I would have loved to see Will-O-Wisp Hex HP fighting Nasty Plot. I think that would have done a lot more than the Shadow Ball being put on, or even just having coverage, because Dark Pulse is not a big deal, but Dark Pulse isn't going to hit much either. So I'm just trying to think like what on his team he was expecting to come out and handle it, because Honchkrow makes a lot of sense. You're not using Dark Pulse on the Honchkrow, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's no Pokemon. There's literally zero Pokemon that Dark Pulse hits. So another move that just doesn't fit the bill, and comes with that resume that comes on the resume that if Coma was to hand into you would expect. It's unfortunate, but again, took the opportunities, made the misplay with being stuck on the Blissey for so long, and I mean the big one was Tapu Fini also trying to handle the Blissey, because yes, he was left with Fini, Kofagrigus, and what was his last? That was Celebi, I think, right? Celebi? Yeah, I think it was Celebi at the end. So so it's tough to say, like, Celebi should have just kept coming in trying to throw Leech Seed out. You have to play a lot of mind games, and that's where you would expect Sweet D to take the advantage. But even if Coma had lost to mind games, I would have loved to see that, for Sweet D to show off just the skill of being able to work around and make those double switches at the right time and try and just predict and call it, what makes the most logical sense. And honestly, if he could have won those mind games, you had 2 layers of spikes up. You would have forced that Crobat in earlier to try and manage it. You could have easily gotten a pick off. But that's foresight, and that's difficult to develop, especially when you're heavily focusing on trying to get something off when you know your Pokemon's just not going to do anything. Like, Kofagrigus should not be staying in with Dark Pulse against the Blissey. Fini should not be setting up Seeing, because here's the thing. You can set up and check the damage, or you can just do a damage calc, whichever one you want to do. I don't care. Like, damage calc is obviously the safer one, but managing and trying to just tell in the battle is going to cost you a Seismic Toss or 2. But when you see that +2 is at 30-something%, and then you go for the +3, that's not going to raise you to the damage, because you still have to worry about a low damage roll, similar to what happened with that Crobat not one-shotting the Tapu Fini, right? It was 92 to 108%, and Sweet D got the absolute lowest roll he possibly could, and didn't do, because even if he hit 93%, that was above the 92.4, so he hit 92.4%. He hit the lowest chance, which is what you never want to see in Pokemon. It's awful, the low roll. Low roll. I said it, not Rolo. I can't even mess it up on purpose. Low roll.
Rolo.
So, check the damage, and yeah, it's just, you see that inexperience, but you see the 1-1. So for Las Vegas Golden Lucario, hey, taking points here where you're going to be going for top 6, and top 6 is looking kind of wide open right now, where maybe top 4 are going to be fighting each other, and then you have I Am Groot that's going to try and, the two that I pin that I could see points dropping from without looking at their schedules just based on experience. Golden State Greninjas and Manchester Manectric might be the most volatile, despite the fact that we have adopted World Leader as our prodigal son.
Yes.
I somewhat expect that Traverse City Thunders would have to be shut down, but I think that the experience will pull through for Shark King, and for Las Vegas Golden Lucario's to take that point and still go. He's only got 3 games left, so really the best that he can hope for is one of these players falling. He has to grab at least 4 points, right? He needs a 2-0 and he needs a 1-1. At the very least, I don't think 3 1-1s will do it for him, because his final 3 opponents, if I could just quickly check here.
Challenge.
Remember when I said I wasn't going to discuss anything about future implications?
I mean,
you know what? Next week is going to be really important to see what Koma's doing, because after that, that's his 8th match. He has 2 matches left, and then we can actually see the fate. And I don't want to doom it and be like, yeah, well, Koma's done. He can't play anymore, because it's definitely not looking like that. The points are so close because of the buys. So he's like, this is the season where he can literally just go all out and actually try and pull that anime comeback. So he's against Manchester Manectric. He's against Traverse City Thunderous, and he's against Lunar Cresselia. So someone who's at the bottom, right? So he could Goomba Stomp off that. He can Pogo Stick off that. And he's got Manchester Manectric and Traverse City Thunderous. And if you look at their points, I think it's... Oh my goodness. I just lost it. I had it. I remember the numbers. Traverse City Thunderous at 1 point lower. So taking down Shark King and taking down the likes of Lunar Cresselia, that's one less person that's the only person underneath Las Vegas, right? So he has to win this against Tyler Poke Trainer. And then if he drags down Traverse City Thunderous, not only will I Am Groot have a much higher chance of getting to top 2 or just at least being in a higher seed. I mean, top 2 is the only thing that matters because 3 through 6 randomizes, but really those points are super important. He's going to be dragging down the top, and that's going to make Traverse City Thunderous kind of sweat a bit because he's fighting to get that 1 point advantage. And if he can see Fortnite Ninjas and Manchester Manectric kind of drop a game here or there, and then he just assumes, well, player at the bottom, I can springboard off of. If Koma brings that upset similar to what he did this week with I Am Groot, it could be extremely disastrous. And I actually would say that the Golden Lucarios are the upsets here. This is the botulism in the Pro Pokeball. I think he is the virus. It sounds really gross and weird, but hear me out.
You're making him sound like a disease.
He's the stomach flu of those who are trying to hold top 6.
I hope you don't take it personally. Noob's calling you a horrible stomach disease.
Because the thing is, to qualify the impact that Koma can have on this tournament is to basically say, like, he will upset, he will snap the tournament into some weird, distorted, alternate dimension. It's a big deal what he can do, right? By taking, like, just even taking a point off of Groot is a big deal. It doesn't matter how he did it, but the fact that he took a point, like, imagine now he surprises and 2-0s Lunar Cresselia, and imagine he 2-0s or he 1-1s even Traverse City Thunderous. He drags Manchester Manectric out of first place. He has so much power right now in his final 3 matches. It's his final 3. He's in 7th seed. But he has the final 3 where he can literally, because the points are so close, he can make top 6 and he can drag someone out of top 2. That's how impactful Koma's chances are right now, where his play, and who cares, he gets through luck or he really plays it out, because again, he has shown potential of taking advantages and running with them. He's got a really good team. So he could take it down. We don't even have to talk about I Am Groot because we know that I Am Groot will be consistent. They have 4 matches left. But losing this...
Is that enough?
Is that enough?
Is that enough?
Well, if Koma takes it down, if he takes down those top 2, it could be. That's the thing. Like, I think Sweet D is a Koma fan right now, because he can even because he's only a 2-0 series away, right? So seeing Koma take down these other coaches would be an enormous deal for Sweet D to get back on top 2, because his start wasn't great. He's had 3 ties now. He's had 3 1-1s out of 6 matches. That's a big deal for someone who was pinned as the number 1 drafted pool in Season 5. Like, that's enormous, and it's bad luck. Like, yes, it's bad luck, but here you go. Now you're going, okay, maybe luck's on Koma's side, or Koma will actually pull that curveball against these top two. But really, I think Sweet D is a Coma fan, even more so. Not just like the whole like Big Brother type of thing, but he's a really big fan to see what's going to be happening, and that's why I really want to analyze this next week, because I think it's going to be a really, really, really important detail to see what happens between what's actually going to be our featured matchup. Spoilers! But,
oh boy.
Yeah. Nonetheless, the series went the way that it went. 1-1, big implications for I Am Groot trying to vie for that top 2 seed, having to hope for a few conditions to go through with it, and we're going to see that in the Super Week for sure. As well as Las Vegas Golden Lucario keeping themselves competitive. Keeping that point, don't want to fall behind. The moment you start falling behind 3-4 points at this point, you have to hope for something to go horrendously wrong. And, I mean, to be fair, when you're looking at like the bottom 4 in terms of like 3rd through 6th seed, it can happen because matchups do change from here and there. So even though you might be the lowest experienced player in the tournament, doesn't mean you still can't do something and make it to top 6. So, you know, again, talking about seeds until you see 2 weeks before the end of the Pro Poke, because the points are that impactful. Unless you see something like someone's at 3 points and someone's at 14 points, you're not gonna. You have to assume that something can be competitive, and these buys have kept it quite interesting, actually. As sad as it is to say, the buys have kept it quite curious to an extent. Comments, Gamma?
The only comment I can make is me raising my eyebrows.
Do you find it weird when people textualize body language?
Not really. It's the strongest form of communication, I think.
Who told you that? Text is the strongest form of communication?
No, not text. I'm talking...
You're talking about body language. Body language is the strongest form of communication, like nonverbal language. What? What? Who's dead?
He's dead.
Who's dead?
The internet killed him.
Oh, no. I'm right here.
Oh, welcome back.
I'm right here. I never left.
You did.
Oh, no. Did that just cut my VOD? Oh, no.
VOD?
No, I bet you. I hope it did keep hearing you. I hope it kept you in the podcast. We'll see. It was coming through on my screen, so I never left.
Okay.
No, I was saying that that body language is the most.
That's what I was saying. I meant body language.
Okay, it's like 85%.
The way I got a little turned around. No, body language is the strongest.
It's the comeuppance thing all over again. It's just gonna be a theme of this podcast. No big deal.
Yep, it's fine. I don't know words. I failed English.
I hate sayings anyways, mainly because I don't get them. But I'm like, why do you have to say sayings when you could just say what it is? Don't say like calling the kettle black. I still don't get it, but I'm just like, just say what it is. Just say that I'm being a phony. That's not what it actually is, but it's like, just say that I'm being dishonest and being a hypocrite. Just call me a hypocrite. Just do it. Like, come on. just say it like it is. Don't dance around. I have someone I have to pick a bone with later who is dancing around stuff. I'm just like, just freaking say it, buddy. Regardless, second series of the week 5. Golden Sacred Ninjas versus Ice Cold.
Mm-hmm.
That's your cue.
And I was taking a second. There's, reveling in the 2 matches that happened in this series.
Yeah,
the first one, the biggest factor in the first match was
Gamma.
that Kamala.
Oh.
It was Kamala, and it's comatose, and it's stupid, and I hate it.
How's it stupid?
I just don't like Kamala.
Really?
Yep.
Can you actually?
And
hate
it's just
Kamala?
literally just. I don't hate Kamala. It's just whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's got a decent move pool, but it's.
Japan has a really weird interpretation of what koalas can actually pull off. This is one magical koala.
Yeah.
One very magical koala.
It's a koala with immunity, basically.
Well, better than immunity. It's got misty terrain on it permanently, while being asleep. So. Yeah. No.
Exactly. So like. It did a major amount of damage, and I think that's what took the game for Anish. But the next one after that, after it was taken care of, after it was taken care of,
I'm dying. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. After the Kamala was taken care of the next match, World Leader got into a rhythm. He put some good moves on that Mega Aerodactyl. Pursuit is the biggest thing in that match. half of Initia's team is weak to Pursuit. So if it gets stuck with that Aerodactyl, it's got nothing to do. They're either going to die or they're going to go out really damaged. And the fact that that Aerodactyl was there just swamped everything. It changed the tide, and we got what we got.
And I'm very surprised if I check back to week 5 bans here. I'm very surprised that Aerodactyl got to live for Golden State Greninjas, because he didn't actually. He lost Venusaur. Now, you might be thinking, why Venusaur? Venusaur because Thick Fat Mega Venusaur shuts down Crabominable, which is the Pokemon that literally destroys the entirety of Golden State Greninjas.
Yeah.
So, by taking out the Pokemon that can tank it and then threaten with HP Fire, threaten with, well, mainly no, HP Fire's, nope. Base 60 or 70 still for HP. Hidden Power's at 60 or 70 now? 60?
I think it's 70.
Is that 70 again?
Showdown, here we go.
Yeah, I need a quick, I'm pretty sure it's 70. If it's 70, then you use Sludge Bomb or HP Fire to get a little more damage, but you probably just use Sludge Bomb. But regardless,
it's 60.
It's 60? Okay, so you use Sludge Bomb anyways. You don't use HP Fire. But the fact that it'll be able to tank up the hits and just waste a turn or two of Trick Room when you know that Crabominable sweeps is a big deal. But because you have that Venusaur absorbing it, and you're thinking, well, Trick Room is going to destroy the Mega Aerodactyl, what he didn't really account for, and this is Initiator not really accounting for, is the fact that we have World Leader stalling out the Trick Room effectively, especially in Game 2. Game 1, I think it caught everybody off guard with the damage that Komala did at +1, of all things. Like, it was a +1 bulk up into an Earthquake that one-shot Empoleon, and you don't expect... Like, I'm looking like, okay, Empoleon's not going to take it well, but max HP, max special defense should... I mean, it's special defense, but, I mean, max HP, it should be down to 10%, 15%. One of the things I was kind of waiting for was the Roar to get that thing out of there. That's why he left it in, but instead he tried to go for the Scald, which was a misplay, right? It's a misplay because you can't burn Comatose, right? Komala doesn't care about status, so potentially forgetting about that. Maybe that's his analogy to my air balloon, forgetting about air balloon existing. But it was very, 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 very interesting to see Komala do a lot of damage to World Leader. And then what I can say is the not salty run back, but it was the most determined run back when you see both players. I mean, Initiator doesn't need to switch up a thing. His team is going to destroy. And then you see World Leader go, I'm going to take that match, and I have confidence to beat you with what I have. And the changes from Game 1 to Game 2 were almost like night and day. Like you mentioned, the Pursuit, I think the Pursuit put a lot of fear into Initiator, seeing that his Mega Slowbro was killed, or his Slowbro was killed by Pursuit in Game 1, and they started thinking about it. And I think it got into his head. And, I mean, we're going to talk about that Dustour because it's gone now.
Really quick, actually, I want to drop in there. Pursuit being the most perfect move for that Slowbro, due to the fact that if Inish wants to get that Regenerator boost, he can't. It's going to die to Pursuit.
Yeah, Pursuit, I think, was a great read for World Leader. And time and time again, when World Leader's getting access to his Mega Aerodactyl, it just makes it so easy for him to set up and just get his defensive core doing the damage, and then Mega Aerodactyl comes out and wins. You know, it cleans everything up, does all the damage, and from Game 1 to Game 2, because the Pokemon stayed the same, Initiator could have made the exact same play at the beginning. I think both you and I were looking at that Gamma, where if you lead with the Komala seeing it's the exact same team, it doesn't matter if you go for the bulk up because there's not going to be any punishment. And I think the battle started off the same way, if I recall. Let me see here. Empoleon versus Mesper goes into Komala. Yeah, and then we saw... Yes, he had Roar, right? He had the Roar on the Empoleon. But all you had to do is you didn't even have to go for the damage, per se, on the Empoleon because... Like, you could have just saw if he was going to do anything different, but... At the same time, it's you want to get the damage on the Empoleon, but then you got stuck because I don't know. I want to say, you know what it was? I don't even know if it was the Kamal. I think it was that switch out from the Slow King to the Mesprit, either trying to get
Slowbro.
From the Slowbro out to the Mesprit. Sorry. Because he wanted to get the Healing Wish off, I think, but maybe he miscalculated what was going to happen with rocks, and then he got blasted, because we saw it did, 64% the crunch was to the Mesprit, so when he got hit with rocks, he was brought down to the range where crunch killed on Mega Aerodactyl's side. So, in the end, it's he lost that. He was trying to go for Healing Wish, or he was trying to go for something else, but why not just blast with Slowbro? Because he was slacking off, and as long as he didn't get a defense drop, Slowbro was free to hit the Mega Aerodactyl. So it was a bit of an odd switch that actually just left Mega Aerodactyl completely untouched. It just stayed and won by turn 19. So not too sure what Initiator was thinking in that particular situation, but if he was trying to think about, well, this is the damage I know I can take, it was an oversight not remembering Stealth Rocks, if that was actually what happened, because there could be, even if he just had a Psychic move, because he didn't have a Water move or whatever, but even if you had a Psychic move, you're blasting Mega Aerodactyl, because you're going to win that as long as you go for enough slack-offs to keep yourself safe before you get the defense drop, and then you just get up healthy, you see he's not going to bring you below 2 KO, and then you just get your little shots in here and there. Force World Leader to switch. He wasn't forced to switch. Yes, you damage Empoleon. Yes, you damage the Gliscor. But then after that, well, it's whatever. He roared you. You're going to have the same game plan. You still have the upper hand. As long as you get a Trick Room going, you're going to be good to go. And it wasn't even like Mesprit was going to switch to try and set up Trick Room again if you're even trying to find the furthest of reaches of reasons why that switch happened. So the game plan was changed because World Leader went for Roar early on, and Initiator's well, I'm going to see that coming and just go for the Earthquake, and that makes sense. But I don't know then, well, if you're going to still have that issue with the Aerodactyl, why would you try and not just use the Mega Slowbro to its full effectiveness handling the Mega Aerodactyl? You know what I mean? Am I making sense right now?
I understand what you mean. I just feel like it was a hard call, just knowing what's there. But
well, he kind of
I
knew
can
what was
understand
there,
where you're coming from.
The thing is, he knew what was there. He knew it was a pursuit on the Mega Aerodactyl. Its moveset was Crunch, Pursuit, Stone Edge, and then I forget the fourth move. But it was he saw what was coming. So if the thing was, World Leader was going for Crunch on the predication that if he had gone for Pursuit trying to predict a single time for that Mega Slowbro to switch out, a Calm Mind or a Water move would end Mega Aerodactyl. And you could tell after 3 or 4 crunches that Initiator could just go, okay, he knows that I'm afraid of Pursuit, but that also means he can't answer because he's not switching, right? That was one of those situations where you're kind of going, if he loses Mega Aero, he's gone again, right? Crabominable will just get to the Trick Room again, and it's over, and he's got nothing left to finish off after the Trick Room's done. So, you're kind of sitting there with bated breath, contemplating. He's just going for Crunch. He's going for Crunch. He has to look for the defense drops. He's got no choice at this point because his defensive core has already been damaged. It looked bleak. But then that switch happens. It's well, he switched even knowing that, Pursuit would never fly out, which made sense, but then he didn't remember, I guess, the damage of Crunch on the Mesprit? And that's what threw me off, is the fact that even if he was going to make a switch to tank that up, the problem was he had nothing to do it in. And if he went to Crabominable would resist. And then you have one turn of Trick Room to threaten the Mega Aerodactyl, which means you get the free hit off, and then you can go into Mesprit feeling safe. You know what I mean? He would have probably forced in a Pokemon to die, like Drampa, like Gliscor, and then it becomes that blind switch where Mesprit could come in on the rocks, not have to worry about Mega Aerodactyl, set up the Trick Room, then let it die, or go for the Healing Wish. So it just felt like there was a piece missing from that plan, and I am watching this another time. I want to watch this another time because because he went for the rocks again, and honestly, World Leader, instead of going for rocks on turn 1, I would have gone for Roar right away, right? Expecting that if he had indeed gone for the
bulk up
again, knowing that he can do a lot of damage with it, you just phase that out and then go for rocks when you find something safer. Because the rocks really didn't do much for him, but here you go, just crunch, 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 and then, yes, there was no crit. Yeah, he just kills it. There was just no reason. And then on top of that, Crabominable comes in and takes a bunch of damage, right? It was so it was odd, right? It's not an insult to Initiator's play, but it's like it literally felt like he dropped a piece of the plan, and then step 3 became step 2 for him, and step 4 became step 3. So it almost felt like he just missed one piece, and then you know that whole thing on multiple choice exams where you miss one question and you filled all the bubbles wrong. I almost did that on an exam, by the way. Real talk, I almost got like a 12% because luckily I checked my work, but I would have messed up 128 questions. If I didn't check my bubbles. Yeah, trust me, there were 15 minutes left in that exam. I have never erased and rebubbled anything so fast in my life before. Because that was I think that was my anatomy exam, where it was 140 questions or something like that, and I had skipped a few because that's proper test-taking strategies, and I had missed one, and oh my god. My hand was so cramped after doing all of
that stuff always messes me up.
Yeah.
I can't skip questions too well, otherwise I'm like, oh... Yeah, I super put that in the wrong bubble. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
No,
I failed.
It scared the absolute bejesus out of me. And then I've as a teacher, I've also seen people do it, and you feel bad for them because in high school it's like 30 questions or something like that, and they're still learning test-taking strategies. And you just look at it and you go, oh, man. And because you're questioning, like,
some
there's no
teachers
way this
are nice.
Well, you can't be, though, because it's a formal paper, so you can't actually do it for them, or you can't say, oh, it was just all this but shifted. You have to do it at face value. So I had to give a kid basically at like a 3% or something ridiculous. It was sad.
Monster.
I had to. I can get in legal trouble if I try to fudge things and show that.
Yes.
But if that's what it felt like in this series. That's what it felt like for Initiator Game 2, where he just dropped a piece, and then all of his cue cards, all of his bubbles got out of order, and he's suddenly playing in a situation where, yeah, you could just send a crab bubble to tank a crunch, and then destroy a poke, and then you had another turn of Trick Room to destroy another poke, because we already saw how much damage it could do to the side of Golden State Greninjas. Felt weird.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it happened. A 1-1 is very positive still for Ice Cold, who is currently still has just gotten into top 6. But
nice. Needs
to be grabbing more points because with Las Vegas Golden Lucario's also being at 11 points. Again, luckily Ice Cold has more games. He has an extra game over Coma to play, so there's still that extra game where he can grab those points. So it still puts him in a good position to be in the top 6. But you gotta be curious because Lunar Cresselia is again only 1 point behind. It would have been nice to get the 3 points, and it almost, in our predictions, we almost saw it should have been Initiator 2-0, and if it had been the case, Initiator shooting up to 13 points would have really put a lot of pressure on Lunar Cresselia's and Las Vegas Golden Lucario's to get a 2-0 in their next few matches. But with that 1 point gain only, Lunar Cresselia's has more games than Inish to play, so there is a chance that he can grab even more points, and now it's like, well, now Initiator has to be feeling the heat a bit, despite the fact his name is Ice Cold. Show me your moveset!
Oh my goodness.
Oh, he went there. Oh. Gamma, the points are currently at 18-16, if I recall. Is that right? Yeah, you're perfect. I'm down 2 points, so it's 18-16. Would you like to tell them the wager that you made for me this week?
All right, so I think I got a really tough one, and I have 2 movesets for it. One being hard, and the other being ridiculously hard in
Brock hard, if you will.
Stop playing Pokemon Masters. It's making me even weirder. All right.
Sorry. Anyways,
it's okay. So the Pokemon I got today, it is currently untiered, but I'm going to be using a Gen 2 moveset for it, and I have given Noob the choice of the hard one or the immensely hard one, moveset wise.
Brock hard. Let's go.
You want to go Brock hard?
Brock hard.
All right. All right, you ready for this?
I'm gonna hold on. Let me just quickly grab up my ZU list here.
You ready for this one, dude?
Let me grab ZU.
This is Gen 2 moveset.
Okay.
First move, Curse.
Oh crap! Everything's got Curse.
Second move, Rest. Third move, Sleep Talk, and the last move is Return.
Okay. You know what? I guessed that whole moveset before you said it. And you are an awful individual because about 200 Pokemon ran that in Gen 2. So you said it was Gen 2 UU?
No, it's the Pokemon is NU in Gen 2, but it's an OU moveset.
Gen 2 NU, but it's a ZU.
Uh-huh.
And if I get this on the first try, I get 4 points.
Yes.
I want to take the absolute most ridiculous guess. Okay, it's a cursed rest talk. For those who actually don't know, in Gen 2, you could actually sleep talk into rest, reset your rest counter, and heal the full wall of sleep.
Yep.
That's why you saw
busted.
that. Curse was incredibly popular because everything was... Like, Gen 2 was the bulkiest and most disgusting metagame in the universe because nothing would ever die, so everything had leftovers, everything had rest because it was just too hard to break anything.
You know what? I'll give you that, too. It had leftovers.
Oh, thank you. Can I at least... Okay. Because this is such a common moveset, can I at least ask about the EV spread? Were there EVs? No, there weren't EVs. Never mind.
No, that's Gen 2, my dude.
Right. Okay.
How about this? If you miss the first guess, I will give you the slightly less hard moveset.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just gonna take a really wild guess. I have 2 guesses, but I want to just say the first one first. Was it Farfetch'd?
Nope.
Okay. What's the hard moveset?
All right, so the hard moveset is Sunny Day, Solar Beam, Flamethrower, and Return.
What? Sunny Day, Solar Beam. What? Okay. The Return makes me think it's Girafarig, but because it wasn't like Gen 1 where you ran Blizzard Tauros. I just had the special attack split. And it's ZU right now. It's untiered.
Right now, it's untiered, yes.
Gen 2 with that moveset. Because Return you ran because there wasn't a lot of coverage and a lot of moves at Gen 2. Flamethrower?
Yeah.
So what learned... Did Girafarig learn Flamethrower? I want to say Girafarig, but I don't think that's right.
Maybe, but no, it's not Girafarig.
You didn't have to tell me. Flame...
I mean, I have one more moveset.
It has more than 2 movesets? Okay, it's not a real Gen 2
It's got
moveset.
3.
Oh my god. Sunny Day... Return...
It's your last guess before you dropped out. I'll give you another
You better
moveset.
not be giving me frickin'... Oh my god. It's Gen 2. Dunsparce. Oh my god. Thank God we did that Dunsparce only thing, because I learned so much about Dunsparce during that time.
You want to hear the easier moveset?
What's the easier moveset? Coil?
Glare, Swagger, Psych Up.
There you go. Yeah. When we say Glare Swagger.
The look on my face was indescribable of how much joy was on my face that you couldn't figure out Dunsparce immediately.
Well...
Just like as a joke, even.
The thing was... Like, I was looking at NU pokes, I'm like, I can't remember what's NU in Gen 2, but I keep thinking about Dunsparce with the flinching, which didn't exist until Gen 3 when it got Serene Grace, and it ran Coil. Curse wasn't. Rest Talk, Curse... There's so many things that ran Rest Talk, Curse.
I know, that's why I was messing with you.
How much effort do you actually put into this to try and throw me off?
I literally do my best to find Pokemon that have similar movesets and abilities.
And this is why Team Pocket Aces podcasts don't get done in time? Microphone closer to mouth?
So I have to sleep at some point, okay?
I know, man. I'm joking. I have to throw shade because you threw that at me.
No, I know. All right, so does this count as a 3-pointer or 2-pointer? What do you think?
You didn't give me any extra information. You gave me an extra moveset, but, I mean, it didn't help. I'll leave it up to you. I trust your judgment. I've trusted your judgment every single time. I don't care. You can give me 2 points. It's your decision.
I'm going to give you 2.5.
Oh, Christ. Now I got to remember that. All right, 18.5 points. Done. All right. Gamma.
There we go. Yeah, hit me.
My I wish I could.
Jesus.
For that moveset.
All right, let me just get ready to filter the tier real quick.
Yeah, you're going to go to ZU. I also have a Gen 7 ZU Pokemon.
Oh, shoot. Oh, boy.
It's the Gen 7 ZU Pokemon. Now, let me just check this Pokemon really quickly. Yes, it's Gen 7 ZU. It is a PU moveset, but is a Gen 7 ZU Pokemon. Its moveset: Toxic Spikes, Endeavor, Tailwind, X-Scissor.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I might know. You said it's NU, right?
It is ZU. What?
ZU. I'm sorry.
It's ZU Poke. That's the PU moveset.
Yeah. Huh.
This one was just interesting to me, to be honest.
Alright, can you repeat it real quick?
Toxic Spikes Endeavor, Tailwind, X Scissor. Was that quick enough, or you want me to go faster?
No. Alright, I'm gonna make a random guess.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Jumpluff.
No.
No. Okay. Alright. Okay. Do I get another guess for 3 points?
Yeah, of course. You get 2 per tier.
Okay.
I wish I could get Jumpluff with Toxic Spikes. That might make it slightly less trash without.
Oh my god.
What?
Is it Gyarados?
No.
Okay.
You are correct about it. Actually, does Gyarados even get X Scissor?
I'm about to find
out. I'm pretty sure it does. It's gotta. Come on. How would it not?
It gets it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it does. It does get some weird stuff on it.
I'm curious if it gets Tailwind now.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't.
Oh, man.
Alright, what else do I get?
What do you get? Whatever I give you here is just gonna kind of... Let me do one check here on a piece of information, because it could just be too easy if I give you that specific info. Okay, never mind. Okay. I'll give you its ability.
Oh, am I an idiot?
Maybe. Do you want the ability first?
Hit me the ability.
Swarm.
Huh.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh my god, am I actually an idiot?
Maybe. I don't know. You didn't look up. You didn't filter to Swarm, did you?
No, I didn't filter it. I'm just scrolling through. Beedrill.
Yes. That is apparently is a non-mega Beedrill set used in PU.
Yeah, I'm just surprised it has Tailwind. I didn't even think of that.
I pseudo remember that, but I didn't expect it to have. Honestly, Endeavor. Actually, no, I expected Endeavor. I didn't expect Tailwind with Endeavor, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you go down to Focus
All
Sash.
right, well, I'll take the 2 points.
It's 2 points. It's fine, man. Hey, you know what?
Where we at?
It's 20 to 18.5. Great.
Amazing.
Can't wait to remember that next week.
Yay.
You know what? I'm gonna make this call out right now. I want people in the comment section below, since this is on YouTube primarily, I want listeners to give us movesets.
Oh my god.
I want them to give us the moveset. I want you to give us, all you have to do is give us the tier and what gen it comes from. And give us, like, all you have to do is give us the tier and the gen that the set comes from, right? Give us the tier that it's in Gen 7 now. Give us the 4 moves, and we'll go from there. We'll try and see how much we can riddle off for the Super Show next week. Because I have a feeling next week's going to be like a 3-hour podcast. It's going to be...
it's going to be a while.
So disturbing to talk about. We might even just have to skip the analysis. Just go straight to show me your moveset and what the points are.
Maybe. Maybe.
Not bad, though,
depending on where I am.
Well played with the Gen 2. I think I might have to throw
I hate it. I hate it going that low of a blow, but I need to keep my points somehow. I'll praise the God Sparse.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
We don't praise Godsparse. Godsparse exists because we don't have any religious affiliations with Godsparse, but Godsparse is a cult master.
My God. Sparse.
You went there.
Okay.
Let's look at next week. I'm going to quickly organize the sheet again as usual. Hey, Gamma.
Oh, boy.
Do you have a link to the trades and the bans?
I have a link to the trades and the bans. Yes, I do.
Okay, because there were a lot of people who forgot to do it this week.
Yeah, I can see that with all the lines.
With all the...
Is it that hard to ban? Really?
You know what, Gamma? I have 2 minutes to set this all up. Just go off. Go. Just get him. Just get him.
Like, does it take more than 2 seconds to just say, oh yeah, I guess I should probably ban something. I'm gonna ban and just put something in a random.org. I don't know, man. Like, I may be talking mad crap here, but there's not been 1 week with no ban. if I can remember correctly.
Yeah, I think
Has
every
there
week
been
we've
a week?
had. No, I think one person has missed at least once per week.
Come on, guys. Even if you're throwing the ban, just ban something stupid. Please.
Dude, I love Dad Gamma. Dad Gamma is scary.
Dad Gamma's just disappointed.
Oh my god, are you disappointed, Dad?
I'm literally so disappointed in whoever doesn't ban every week.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, like,
Disappointed Dad Gamma.
I'm not mad. I'm not angry about. I'm just disappointed. I felt you were better than this.
Whoa. Okay, calm down there, Dad. That's like, jeez.
Oh god.
You could be nicer to our coaches. You could be.
Listen, I love each and every one of them, but I'm just disappointed.
Do they know that, or is that the first time they found out?
That's probably the first time I've ever said that.
And how does that make you
probably
feel?
the last time too.
Ooh.
If this shit keeps up, no more bans.
Oh, he's gonna bring out the ruler. He's going straight like.
No, I'm not one of those dads. I'm just the one who gets really easily disappointed. I'm.
I don't know if that's better.
I got the perfect tweet to specify what kind of dad I am.
I don't know. That's good.
Let me just see if I can find it.
You know, if my child was to do stuff, and I was only 95% satisfied with it, I would tell them their ass.
Hold on.
That's basically what you just said.
I will find this. Hold on. All right, you know what? I'm just gonna explain it to you.
Oh no.
It's just a tweet of this kid saying, "You came to my timeline and disrespect anime, you mother hecker."
Mm-hmm.
And then it just cuts to the Sword Art Online theme, just like blasting, and he's doing like he's swinging his katana around in the kitchen, and you can just see his dad in the background. Just, what did I do? Just, what is my life?
Okay, but that's not the same thing as being disappointed in the smallest things. That's just a lack of understanding and support. You're basically
he knows.
You're only supporting things you're good at. That's what you just said. Like, you either have to be good or you're not my son. That's what you just said.
Here, I'm just gonna drop that.
It doesn't matter if you drop the. I don't care if you give me the Twitter link. I've seen this. You've dropped this to me before. Every time you talk about the
probably.
People
every time I talk about being disappointed.
This is literally, you dropped this after week 1. Okay, I know that. I remember you dropped this after somebody.
I'm gonna drop it every week, until somebody stops banning. I'm gonna drop this.
We're trying to reduce the amount of talk that happens in the channel, despite the fact that it's all effective talk for the most part. And you're just dropping all the charcoal into the kiln, man. Is that where charcoal goes?
You know what? Now I'm just I don't know. Now I'm just giving myself a reason to put this in the ProPokePodcast chat.
Oh man, yeah. You know what? Preface this. This has been dropped before this episode came out, so now you understand.
I'm just gonna drop it in there.
No context drop from Gamma.
If you know the context, give it a noob ProPokeW.
Nice. That face has so much mileage. I'm so happy my face can actually be something on the internet like that. You have no idea. Okay, let's get down to business. To defeat Traverse City Thunders versus Manchester Manectric. Sharking versus Ivan. Traverse City Thunders lost their Alolan Ninetales. Manchester Manectric, scot-free. As per aforementioned disappointed Gamma Dad. So, this is actually very favorable for Manchester Manectric not losing any Pokemon. I don't know what would have been kicked off. Probably I gotta look at this really quickly. Honestly, probably the Kyurem Black. I think it would have had the coverage to manage the majority of these Pokemon. Yeah, probably had the coverage to take down all these Pokemon, but I don't know what he have actually taken out. But with Manchester Manectric having full access to the defensive core, what do you think this type of matchup is going to look like? This is a big deal, by the way, because these two players are obviously at the top of the standings right now. Sharking, 14 points. Manchester Manectric, Ivan, 15 points. So anybody who takes a 2-0 here is going to go really far over their counterpart. So what are you expecting to see out of this particular matchup, Gamma?
Hopefully not Haunter. Sorry, I had to.
Why do you do this? Why?
I had to. I just want to make everybody mad at me.
Gamma, you have to realize people actually listen to this podcast. You can't just drop that.
Listen, man, this is the podcast where I turn heel.
Wow.
I'm becoming.
Are you doing a pivot? Are you doing a switch pivot?
I'm
What's
I
that?
am.
What's
I'm
that
doing a
technique
heel
called?
turn.
On your Heelys?
I need those to run away from my Feelies.
Heelys to damage the Feelies. He went there. You beat me to that joke too. I hate you. I don't actually see Haunter being particularly great in this particular match, especially since Absol just says hello and says goodbye to it. It's gonna be a pretty big deal for Ivan to try and stop a setup sweep happening, considering he's in a difficult position. He got rid of the Alolan Ninetales. So this to me speaks to he wants to make sure that his Pokemon are going to be able to do the maximum amount of damage they can for as long as they can. When we've talked about the defensive core that Manchester Manectric likes to run, it's a core that the stronger that it can deliver damage and take damage, the better it's going to be for Ivan. The moment it starts collapsing, that's when we see the team collapse. And funnily enough, on the other side for Traverse City Thunderous, it's the same thing except offensively. Once their offense doesn't work, the team collapses. So it's actually going to be like whose game plan falls first. It's really neat. And it's taking both sides. The more consistent strategy of the defensive core being strong on the side of Manchester Manectric versus the upcoming hyper aggro representation that is being done quite well. So I think the Alolan Ninetales is a very smart ban here from Ivan, making sure that if he is going to get walled, it's just going to be from the lack of having the correct move or the correct coverage to fight the things on the side of Shark King. But I do expect this has harkened to wanting to make sure Necrozma, Stakataka, Nidoqueen, all these Pokemon are just getting the most value out of every attack. So this does also mean that I do expect the pivot game to be pretty strong. I do expect, because Kieran Black is unleashed with the Mienshao, and having these Pokemon that can keep switching in and out and delivering a bunch of damage, he's going to try and just chip down Traverse City Thunderous, and I think he's going to heavily rely on achieving the thing that makes Hyper Aggressive fall down, which is tank up the hits and then give them enough damage that them trying to sweep in the end is going to hurt. The nice thing is, Ivan has the likes of a DD Zygarde 10%, he has a Sucker Punch Absol, he has a Kieran Black, which will also be just Scarfed or something like that, I'm not too sure. But he has Mienshao that could bury the Fake Out, so he even has a little bit of priority and a little bit of speed sweeping that can help, or speed-based sweeping, I should call it, where it can provide him the right amount of things to take over and do his own sweep at the end, as well as kind of chip away at a sweeper. The nice thing is Mienshao is one of those. So with the Alomomola and Mienshao, he's got a double regenerator core to be able to try and bring these powerful priority moves to kind of handle and chip away at things, break focus sashes. So I don't expect Traverse City Thunders to kind of get this free setup unless Ivan plays it really poorly. And that's where I'm going to be looking at the side now of Traverse City Thunderous, where I think, I'm feeling like Focus Punch Alolan Muck wasn't just a one-time meme that we saw. I feel it could actually do some stuff here to crush a few Pokemon. It's going to come down to if he can cripple that defensive core. I think Alolan Muck gets a huge amount of value here. And it must have been a tough decision between Alolan Ninetales and Alolan Muck, because Alolan Muck actually threatens that defensive core quite a bit. It will rock the world of Stack Attack. It will heavily destroy Togekiss. Alomomola doesn't want to get poisoned from this thing, but also Gunk Shot's, I'm assuming, going to do a fair amount of damage as long as he doesn't get burned. But Knockoff is going to be a very big asset here for Shark King to just get that slow withering away of the defensive core away from the Manchester Manectric. And considering that we've seen the Alolan Ninetales taken down, this might actually mean Manchester takes a more offensive approach and tries to beat Shark King at his own offensive game. Will he do that? I think the answer is no. I think Traverse City Thunders has the better chance to go more aggressive than a guy who's trying to go aggressive, because it would be a different style from what Ivan usually plays. But if he can make it work, it's a good thing. But if he doesn't make it work, then Shark King's going to abuse the fact that the defensive core was what was keeping Ivan afloat. So I'm super excited to see it. The nice thing is with Alolan Ninetales gone, Gyarados and Volcarona both have implications here to try and set up. I think between the two, if we were to look for something, I think both are actually kind of important. Earthquake on a Mega Gyarados with the Moxie +1. Volcarona can have that Bug Buzz to take out the likes of Necrozma. I think both of those can carry a fair amount of spread coverage here to slowly take away the walls. It doesn't have to be one major setup sweep. It could just be mini setup sweeps here, and it could become a little overwhelming, considering if the Pokemon on the side of Traverse City Thunder stay healthy, then Shark King makes those free switches, and then Ivan just eventually runs out of HP and then runs out of options.
Honestly, that's what you got to expect when you're pitting a hyper-aggressive team and coach. You got somebody who knows their defense and tries their best to hold it, but let's see if Ivan takes the offensive this time. Forward to it.
You know, Galvantula actually does a fair amount here. Sticky Web can stop and slow a lot of that down. So it's gonna be a clash of ideologies in terms of how they like to play their teams. And I really am, now that I look at Galvantula, I'm like, well, it drops the Thunder and outspeeds the Gyarados, right? It won't get affected by Sticky Web, but outspeeds the Gyarados, and then it slows down the Volcarona, so it has to get that extra speed up boost. I don't think it's gonna matter as much in terms of the speed drops, depending on what he tries to do with the Kyurem Black and the Zygarde 10%, and the Mienshao, of course. But I don't know. I just find it's going to be a really neat matchup between these two, considering Ivan's going to be running the meta and running his thing. Sharking's going to be running his thing, but his thing is going to be counter meta. So, you know, it's not how most people have won this tournament. So, and if Manchester and Manectric are going to be looking for that more offensive approach, then perhaps we can start talking about how Ivan's found flexibility in a team that starts making it work for him. And of course, this would be a big deal for either of them to 2-0 each other because these are both very experienced players. I would put Sharking slightly above in experience, but I don't think that's going to shift the game. I think it's going to come down to what shows up at the end of the day between the two builds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Somebody else is looking at the thing with us.
Oh my god.
At this time of night, it's probably ice cold, which is not the next match we're talking about. Darn. What we're talking about next is Golden State Greninjas versus the Fortnite Ninjas world leader, the prodigal son that apparently Gamma is quite disappointed in nonstop every time he does a 2-0, versus Mitchie W. Mitchie W. It's about time, man. He's been gone for a couple of weeks from buys. He's back on the field. He's got a lot of games to play.
It's been 3,000 years.
It's been 3 weeks, which can about equate to 3,000 years in Pro Pokeball era. This one, Fortnite Ninjas has lost Tapu Bulu, which means the Latias is unleashed. And for Golden State Ninjas, they have lost the Pelipper. So, Ludicolo sweep, not very likely. Gamma, what are you looking at for this matchup?
Honestly, with this matchup, oh boy, this is a tough one. I think they're both great players. While World Leader is up and coming, Mitchie's shown his prowess over the past few Pro Bowls, and I'm just interested to see how they're going to play around about this.
Is there a particular Pokemon on the side of Golden State Ninjas you want to watch out for? Because Fortnite Ninjas I actually think will be pseudo-forced to use maybe a different combination that he's not used before, but I don't think it's going to go too off the charts here in terms of team comp. But is there something in particular that World Leader could be playing around that could either catch Mitchie W off guard, or knowing that World Leader comes up with very intuitive movesets, banning out Bulu, that means he's looking towards Latias. So what are we looking for when we look at World Leader here?
When I look, okay, well, obviously it's the Fire, Water, Grass core, but I think the one Pokemon to look out for is part of that. It's the Venusaur, dude. I feel like that Venusaur is going to pull some major weight.
In light of Latias being around.
Wait. Oh, no, I messed up. Why didn't... No! Oh, boy. Maybe not. I take that back, actually. I didn't realize the Latias. I thought the Latias was banned.
No, it's the Tapu Bulu.
I'm a ding-dong.
Like, if he had banned Latias, then Mega Venusaur would be great because then Bulu doesn't touch it. Not well, and it's going to die. So that... You're right in the other common ban we see for Fortnite Ninjas, but...
Yeah, no. Alright, then. Well, let's see. It'll take me an extra second.
Can I tell you mine? Not to bias it, but can I tell you mine?
What?
Golisopod.
Really?
The trade that Golden State Ninjas made this week. Ambipom is gone, thank God, but Golisopod is in. And, you know, if you look at Fortnite Ninjas, that's a lot of friggin' damage it deals to that whole team. Like, take a look. It destroys like 6 or 7 Pokemon. It's a pretty big deal.
You know what I think could do more?
What more?
We just saw it this week.
Okay.
Frickin' Mega Aerodactyl.
Okay.
With all the dark weaknesses he has, along with like Mamoswine and frickin'.
Did you just say Mamoswine is weak to dark?
No, to rock.
It's not weak to rock. It's neutral.
Cut this whole thing out the podcast.
No, you are exposed.
Alright, well, it also has flying moves, which Girder and Conkeldurr don't like, as well as not Tyrell, but Fortress, as well as
A moveset I could see. Unfortunately, Mega Aerodactyl doesn't get the strongest flying move, but if you could do like an Aerial Ace Fire Fang, I think it's the best it's going to get, and then you run your rock move and then anything else. I think that the Pokemon to really watch for is going to be the Quagsire. Quagsire does a lot of tanking up against anything that's going to be happening. And if Fortnite Ninjas are looking at the team and see that Golisopod does a fair amount to them, depending on the build, Quagsire is going to be a very prevalent Pokemon. Also, considering that the defensive core of World Leader is pretty much handled minus a Toxic Empoleon. So, or a Toxic Drop anyways, but it can handle a lot of Pokemon threatened with the likes of Ice Beam, Scald, Recover, keeps very healthy, and Fortnite does have a Heal Bell if he decides to run it on Latias. So, you have to be a little careful. It looks good for World Leader. He's got a couple Pokemon that could do it, but he really needs... I think he's still going to be bringing that Venusaur. I don't think it's the worst idea, because it can handle the Quagsire quite well, in fact. My concern is the Latias. If he doesn't get Mega Aerodactyl or Golisopod into that Latias, he starts setting it up. It's not going to matter how much damage he could do. A substitute combined would do a bunch to this team as well. Or Stored Power. If you could do Cosmic Power... Stored Power, which is quite disgusting because it's basically fighting an even worse Sigilif. So, minus, you can't status Sigilif, so yeah. But nonetheless, it is going to come down to if the Gold Sacred Ninjas can find those advantages, try and get those Pokemon and try and clean it up. I don't think Mitchie W is going to fall for the same amount of thing. Having said that, the only real priority that he has outside of just running Scarf Pokemon is Conkeldurr and Girder. Mm-hmm. The Girder might actually be slightly better considering the bulk would be better with Eviolite, I think. Mm-hmm. And plus, it would absorb things like Scald and Empoleon because then you don't want to get burned and stuff like this because then it gives a Guts boost. So, he's got to find his way in. Does he have a powerful Psychic type? That's what he's really lacking. A powerful Psychic type that has a Ghost. Like Meloetta would have been really good for him to take once Coma dropped it. But... I
never want to hear about Meloetta again.
Sorry, but Pokemon that would be able to drop a powerful Ghost and Psychic move would have been really solid here. I think that's what we noticed for the side of Mitchie W is that kind of Pokemon that can do that. Meloetta. Mm-hmm. But if it could have done that, then it would have been quite solid. But I think, the advantage here, I think, still goes to Mitchie W just in terms of experience. However, we've seen World Leader do quite well, and it's hard to just say. It's not unbelievable that he could take a game off. I do think that if he plays it out standard and doesn't make the mistake of staying in for too long and trying to force a play, right? We've seen it a lot come out of World Leader, similar to how we're talking about the other people at the bottom of the ladder or at the bottom of the league where they are trying to force a play and not trying to think about switches are extremely important. And with Pelipper being gone, yes, you lose a very powerful... First of all, you lose the weather change because Gigalith can tank a lot of hits as well. We got to remember that Sand could chip away. And if Sand's chipping away... I mean, Aerodactyl doesn't care, but other Pokemon are going to care if they're not able to heal up correctly. But you take away the Ludicolo sweep, which is also great. But Pelipper's a defogger. And if hazards are stacked... Infernape has to be a Pokemon that's going to handle that Fortress. Otherwise... you got to start bringing other Pokemon with Defog, and it's not difficult. I think Drampa does get Defog, and so does Gliscor. So maybe just taking away the most effective Defogger, but nonetheless, I think that's what it's going to come down to. If Fortnite sets up a little bit too hard, I think we're going to see a Victor Ruel. Another one come out here for Mitchie. Yes, I made a Fortnite joke. I had no point. I'm sorry. I had to. What am I saying?
I'm just going to move on from your horrible jokes, Snoop.
I'm stupid. There is priority with Mamoswine.
Ice Shard, mofo.
Yeah, Ice Shard actually destroys these Pokemon. I think, actually, you know what? Let's make a quick mention. If he doesn't bring Mega Venusaur, Mamoswine could do a bunch to this team, too. Very strong.
Mamoswine.
What? Who? I didn't crap on Mamoswine.
Mamoswine's not weak to rock.
It's not weak to rock. I never said it was bad, though.
I'm messing with you.
You're doing a poor job. Mess with me better. Don't actually, please. It's late. It's 5 a.m. Oh God, we said the time again. Why do we say these things?
I mean, I don't think they care.
They might.
We have busy lives. They know this.
Do they? Do they care though? Do they care though?
Probably not.
Oh. Third series of the week. It's okay because we're gonna get third series of the week. Ice Cold versus I Am Groot. Initiator versus Sweet D. Gamma, go. I'm gonna let you take this one.
Hold on, wait a second. I can't see anything. I'm blind.
This is nothing. Let's talk about the band. I'll give you some time while I talk about the bands. I Am Groot lost Gastrodon. Ice Cold is also scot-free. Had nothing banned against them. Why Gastrodon, Gamma? Oh, we should mention the trade. Ice Cold Dust Noir was taken out after its extremely disappointing appearance in Week 5. And Jellicent, another Trick Room user, a more effective Trick Room user, considering it can go faster in Trick Room and status and abuse and heal itself and do a lot more, arguably, as a ghost type, has been brought into the side of Ice Cold, courtesy of Sotodude dropping out of the tournament. But Gamma, why Gastrodon ban?
You know what? I have no idea. Other than Mawa. That's literally, I guess Ferrothorn can take damage from Earthquake to Earth Power. I guess that's where he was looking. That's the only thing I can see just by looking.
I think there's the fear of the burn, considering that Crabominable can't one-shot it. And on top of that, Slowbro has a really bad time because it can't use its water attack, considering Storm Drain, and if it gets toxic, Gastrodon's a really it's a big pain in the butt.
Yeah, but if he brought Komala against you, he could just drop a wood hammer on
he
his face
can
and just one shot it.
One thing that I would say about that, as easy as that sounds, I'm pretty sure it's so predictable because he doesn't have anything outside of Ferrothorn to manage it. I mean, Ferrothorn's a very good answer to Gastrodon, but I feel like if you saw Kamala switch in and like, oh yeah, he can't burn me, what else could he do? I mean, you're not going to be staying in. He's not going to be staying in with this thing, and Terrakion destroys Kamala, so... You know, it's going to be Ferrothorn's goal here, but maybe that's what he's afraid of, is the fact that Gastrodon can just absorb too much and go from there. Because, I mean, honestly, nothing uses, other than Heatran, which can run Gracium Z Solar Beam, and Ferrothorn using Power Whip, that's really all you're going down to. Everything else is going in. But you do make a very good point, because there's no ban this week. Mawile is unleashed. So,
yeah, it is.
What does that mean for the side of Ice Cold?
It means a lot. That thing's a powerhouse. But honestly, even if it was banned, Inish's been pulling together a pretty solid team from all the trades he's been doing.
He has been trading every week, you're right.
He's been taking advantage of it. No, like for real though. He's been pulling in some smart Pokemon, especially to roll around with the Trick Room that he's trying to pull together.
And he also has a lot more Pokemon that can be flexible outside of Trick Room. Like we said, the Moltres feels a little bit dead weight at this point, but he still has just more options. Like I said, Jellicent is still a self-sufficient Pokemon, just in a more utility way when it comes to Trick Room, where it can just try and status things and keep them on their toes rather than, you know, he will have to be a Pokemon that will most likely switch out to get value. If I actually look at the body count that Mawile can claim against I Am Groot, it's a huge number. Like, there's a lot of things weak to Fairy and Steel and Fire. Like, this thing...
Very large.
I wouldn't be completely surprised if we see Sweet D drop a game and he goes, damn, I wish I had banned Mawile. like, it could be a bait, right? I think he did basically say he forgot, but I find that pseudo hard to believe, but I mean, I could also just believe it. So, considering there are three Pokemon, there are 3 teams that were not banned out of 8. So,
that's it by you.
Weird week, but Mawile kind of has a lot of fun here. If Suicune doesn't get a burn on it, Gastro's gone, so that's probably, you know, what he's thinking about is I can't hit the Gastrodon, so... But even then, he wouldn't ban Gastrodon expecting his Mawile to get through, right? I would expect Mawile to still be banned, because it's just too good. But, like,
yeah,
this team gets schnockered by it. Holy cow. Really hard.
Schnockered?
Schnockered? You never heard of the expression schnockered?
No.
Usually it's used for drunk, but schnockered is kind of like a...
Yeah, you're right.
Like you look like you've been knocked out drunk type of thing. Like
drunk, so you mean like wasted?
No, not no, because wasted you're kind of like silly and just out of it. It looks more like you would question really quickly if they were drinking or if they were actually hit in the face. Like a schnocker's like a really like it just like hits you really hard and you just kind of just have that sort of whoa moment. That's what I mean by schnocker.
So just absolutely demolished. Gotcha.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. It's a bit more Canadian than that.
Yeah,
I think it's actually an East Coast term, schnockered. I think that's where I heard it from.
Oh yeah, maybe. Probably Boston.
Or is that Schnooky, the billiards game?
Don't.
Snooker.
Snooky's a
Right, isn't that
reality
Jersey Shore?
TV star.
Right. No, what's it called?
They're
Snooker?
North Jersey.
It's Snooker,
They're-
right?
I don't know what you're
Snooker,
talking
yeah,
about.
snooker rules. It's basically you play billiards, but it's played with different colored balls, and they're worth different values. You have to play a certain way. That's an East Coast game. I was thinking snooker, but schnockerd is another expression I picked up there.
Concerned.
No, you know what you need to be concerned about is Mawile. And if I look at what could destroy Ice Cold, not luckily, what Sweet D can really use is a really good defensive core here to stall out Trick Room and just kind of make it useless. And then he has Pokemon like Terrakion and even Lycanroc that could come in and do a fair amount. Hippowdon is going to be keeping things very bulky here between the Lycanroc and the Terrakion if they're used. Mandibuzz is going to be fairly important to manage a few Pokemon here as well. I think you may see a mixed build here from Anish. If he goes all in, I hope that he can play it the best that he can, because he's got to get a lot of status down to handle a few Pokemon. But if he handles a really defensive core, and because he banned Gastrodon, Superior is free, if he's expecting that he is going to be setting up Trick Room essentially for free, then he needs to make that work, and he needs to time it out correctly. He cannot make a mistake like he did in week 5, where he brought in the wrong Pokemon, got destroyed, and then Crabomber got less value there against Golden State Greninjas. He really needs to play out the Trick Room the best that he can, because I can see this going very awry, considering that the Gastrodon's gone. Right? It's not a sweeper. And that's fine. Banning defensive Pokemon is not a bad strat if you know that you can make it work. I'm worried that if he has this particular plan and Sweet D is just like, well, I've got the defensive core and not give a crap about that, then you're going to see Anish fall, and he can't lose points at this point, right? You don't want to see him drop points.
Yeah.
Like we said, I think he has 5 games left.
He's neck and neck right now, if I remember right.
He's the 5-5
points.
guy right now. He's neck and neck to get to top 6. He's only got 4 games left. So he's in the okay position at the moment because he's ahead of the people who could take his 6th seed away from him. Well, okay, sorry. The only person that could take it away from him would be Lunar Cresselia, and they have 5 games. He has 4. So Las Vegas Gold Lucario is running out of time to take that away from him. Lunar Cresselia have more time, so he does have to worry a bit about that. But luckily for him, 7th and 8th place are fighting for points. So if they actually won one, that might be the best case scenario for Ice Cold, considering that they'll both throw themselves off to try to take advantage over him. So he's kind of hoping for both of them to be equally fantastic against each other, which is going to be our featured matchup of the week, by the way, is the Las Vegas Golden Lucario versus Lunar Cresselia, because these do have very big playoff implications for both these players, both looking to sneak in. Yes, Las Vegas Golden Lucario are tied with Ice Cold for the 6th seed. Lunar Cresselia are only a single point behind. Gamma, you had a description for this match, and I want you to be a little bit more censored with it.
Excuse me? No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Lies?
Bologna? Don't you give me a bologna
Sounds delicious
sandwich.
on a sandwich.
A live bologna sandwich? Bologna is lies.
Okay. The description is these are 2 up and coming coaches who have similar skill sets, and I feel that they're going to be both attempting to claw their way up into top 6.
That was not even close to what you said. That wasn't even remotely close. You
I'm
know what
gonna
it was,
punch
Gamma?
you.
You know what you
What?
said, Gamma?
What did I say?
Basically, these are 2 mountain hikers that are approaching Everest for the first time. And the results that they have could either bring them to the top and give them fame and glory, or they're going to freeze to death and fall all the way down.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's exactly what you said.
Word for word, verbatim.
Verbatim.
I
wrote it down.
Yes.
And it's not exaggerating when we say we have to really look at this series, because this will be an enormously big. Like, you might be like, why are we looking at the bottom? Because this is actually really big for 6th seed. With I Am Groot and Ice Cold fighting it out when they're both a point apart from each other, and they're the 5th and 6th seed. And then you have Las Vegas Golden Lucario and Lunar Cresselia fighting it out, where they are the 7th and 8th seed looking to get into 6th seed and trying to maintain and try and build some kind of advantage by just beating people. There's going to be a lot of eyes on the total points at the end of the week. because there could be some really nasty things that could happen. A 2-0 in this series will propel Las Vegas Golden Lucarios really far forward. In fact, it could go so far forward that if Fortnite Ninjas 2-0 Golden State Greninjas, we could actually see Coma in 5th or 4th. That's how high this could go.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's not wow because it's Coma. It's wow because of how impactful this series is, right? Lunar Cresselia takes a 2-0. They can go minimum 5th. Or, sorry, maximum 5th. I think minimum 4th. Or maximum 4th, something like that. But, like, they're going to top 6, especially if I Am Groot takes down Ice Cold. Like, there's very tight situations because, again, every point matters in this tournament, and now that we're getting to the crunch time, we can see the implications. There's no hope lost, and considering that both these coaches have been finding struggles to take on the higher level of competition in the tournament, they really need to prove themselves here and make it count the best that they can. Like this is not to put too much pressure if they are listening right now, but Coma and Tyler have a lot of work ahead of them. So let's take a look at what's going on with this. Las Vegas Golden Lucarios, no ban against them. Lunar Cresselias loses their Pidgeot. So Las Vegas Golden Lucarios runs free, and they traded out the Roserade for the Weezing. This is a great upgrade for Coma. Fantastic upgrade. He not finally, but he has another resist, a better defensive core. He's basically said F it to half his team, and he's now building Pokemon that are a better version. Roserade goes so he can grab the Celebi. Sorry, Roserade is gone. He grabs the Weezing.
So they can grab the better...
the Meloetta is gone so he can grab the Celebi. So he grabs a better Poison type, he grabs a better Psychic type for him. And funnily enough, Celebi happens to be a better Grass type than the Roserade, and then Weezing becomes a better defensive Pokemon that helps us up against his team, and he can have a nice physically defensive Pokemon that he doesn't have to
How about that?
Yeah, very interesting, isn't it? He's actually building a very good team for him here. A little late, but I mean, he's also getting the advantage of these Pokemon being thrown back into the pool. But I mean, he's taking advantage of it. He also has the advantage of being in a lower seed, which means he wins trade priorities. So if there were anyone looking for the same Pokemon, I mean, they weren't, but if they were, he would be grabbing this up, and he'd actually be able to make a resurgence in the late game here. This is where it's coming down to. He's in the late season. And if I look between these teams, Gamma, what are you looking for here? What are we? Pidgeot's gone, so that's a Manectric he's going to potentially rely on. But what are we expecting out of this series between these two?
I'm expecting to see more Scizor. More Scizor. Actually, no, not more Scizor. Lopunny, I think. I feel like Lopunny might be the better choice between the two. And I'm definitely planning on seeing, like you said, Manectric coming out. Trying to run that Mega.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Lopunny is the better choice here, considering Manectric would basically destroy Scizor. I think you could see both, but it's definitely going to be Mega Lopunny that will have the better coverage and will handle a lot more of these Pokemon, especially considering we've seen that Sylveon is basically, like, Sylveon and Gligar are essentially his two defensive Mons, and I do not honestly expect Coma to not bring Ice Punch again. He's not bringing Low Punch again. Or Low Kick. He saw what happened with Low Kick. If he brings it again, that is shame upon thy family. Like, he's not bringing it again. There's no way. He's bringing Ice Punch.
Shame on you, shame on your family, shame on your cow, shame on
No. Hey, you can't shame that cow until you kill it. You can't shame the Miltank until he kills it on the side of the
I'm shaming the rabbit then.
Wow. I like rabbits. I like bunnies.
If they don't have Ice Punch, then they're a shame.
It's very fair. Yeah, but there's a lot of coverage that he can go here. I actually, if I look at the teams, I'm still waiting for that Tyrantrum to do something. Still waiting.
Yeah.
I've seen it once. This Tyrantrum is so powerful. I don't know. I look at it and I go, Manectric makes the most sense for the side of Lunar Cresselias. If we look for what's going to be trying to destroy Coma's defensive core, his defensive core has gotten a lot better. You could argue that Shaman could do a few things here, but it's not going to be feeling that great, especially since Bug Bite was run on the Scizor, so we know that he's not going to necessarily run U-Turn all the time. He could run Bug Buzz to destroy it. And HP Fire, yeah, you got to get there first. If you get in and you get predicted, you're in trouble. So I do actually give this favorable to Las Vegas Golden Lucarios. I think the plan they can come up with and the fact that they have an open 12 Pokemon does make a big, like it does make a big difference. And now that he's building a better defensive core for himself, I think he'll feel a little bit. I think he'll get more done so that even if he makes mistakes with trying to set up a win condition, he'll kind of get it a little bit freer, considering he will not rock you, but he will have better wiggle room now that damage has been done, the weakness has been done. So maybe this is what we see, right? Potentially, maybe this is how Coma comes back, as he just builds himself a better core and he actually makes a run for top 6 at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that. Although the only reason I'm agreeing with you on that, I think, is because I don't think I've seen too much from the Cresselias, like play-wise or Pokemon-wise. So I feel that that's kind of clouding the judgment there, but we don't know what they can do. Hopefully we'll see something really awesome this week. So
yeah, our expectations were a little higher, but that's not to sound disappointed in Tyler's performance or
no,
like at the end of the day, as not rude as it sounds, but the way that it is the points will show the performance. So there's no reason to ever harp on people's, like, we talk about people's performance, but you're gonna know that as a guy who came in and showed immense proficiency in what he could do in the preseason, as well as showed that he had a lot of knowledge. This could be the challenge that he needs for Tyler Poke, and getting past this would be a good situation for him, because really he's most likely learning a lot from this, considering now he's playing against really good players. And not to say that Shark King and Gamer and all of them weren't good in the preseason, but now that he's seeing a lot more variety and getting a taste of what this draft looks like, especially now 12 Pokemon are in with bans and things like this, so not as much was open in the trading, and maybe not using the pool as much as he could, or trying to make certain movesets work. This could be a very acclimatizing region. I did compare him to the upcoming Ivan, right? A similar story to Ivan, where season after season, Ivan got better and better and better, and started showing, even after the season 2 world championship, even after the season 2 championship, we're not that big yet, but after the season 2 championship, and then even still makes top 6, gets to semis, gets to quarters. Even though he's not winning multiple seasons, he's shown better and better performance and more of a style that he's accustomed to. I think Lunar Crystales needs to find that style, and this team, we pinged this from the beginning too with the draft, this team doesn't feel like a style. It might, but it feels too disjointed with what Tyler could be showing. So with what he's got, I think the play would look better with the team looking better, and that just comes down to making those adjustments between weeks or making the adjustments for the next time when he drafts. But that's not saying it's over. That's not giving him a death sentence. That's most certainly saying that there is potential, there is hope. I hope that this series will be actually very exciting, because both these players do have a lot on the line, and it's really gonna be either they have to come out swinging and surprise the hell out of us in the next 4 weeks, or it's going to fall flat and somebody is going to be 8th seed. Somebody's going to be stuck in 8th seed.
And that's the reason it's the featured matchup of the week.
Yeah, it's got big implications, especially since everything in week 6, funnily enough, it's not just all 8 players playing, but the people that are playing is like 5th versus 6th, 7th versus 8th, and then you have first versus 4th, and then 2nd versus 3rd. It's really like, hey, it just ends up being these guys are all fighting for that top 2 or top 6, and it's gonna be neat. And then there's World Leader and Mitch, who are just like, yeah, he's at the top, and World Leader's just trying to stay in that 3 to 6 bubble. Maybe get the top 2, maybe get 2nd seed, but making it to 3rd to 6th bubble is still not too bad. You get extra practice, actually. It's not the worst. So, and where can you watch that featured matchup? August 28th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time over at twitch.tv/ProPokeNoob if you guys would like to check out all the action. Gamma, do you still trust my plugging center?
I don't trust plugs anymore, not after last time.
Then how about you put a handle? You just put a handle on the door that is my podcast. Where can people find you, Gamma?
Okay. The handle, I'm slightly placing it on the door. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Amagamma. Twitter at Amagamma. You can find us on the Pocket Aces Discord, Pixelmon and stuff. And the Pocket Aces YouTube. I help out there sometimes.
He does a lot of work.
I try.
You do well.
Yeah.
And if you want to keep up with action with all of us, obviously with the ProPokePodcast, but keeping up with the content that we produce for the Pro Pokeball and other things, twitch.tv/ProPokeNoob. I already said that, but you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ProPokeNoob. This is a reminder to myself, by the way, when I'm listening to post to Instagram, because without auto-posting, I'm forgetting and I'm falling behind. I'm really upset because I have a lot of content now to put on Instagram. It's just so tough to have to do it between the phone and the computer, and it's very clunky. Let's put it that way.
Just swap to TikTok or something.
No, TikTok is too much work. Not to sound petty, but TikTok is too much work. You gotta be good with graphics and videos on TikTok, Gamma. Have you seen what I do with tech?
Yeah, let's stick to Instagram.
Thank you. Yeah, make sure you guys go check it out. And thank you very much for continuing to support the ProPokePodcast. Make sure you get your movesets into the description below. Gamma and I will try and figure those out in the next series. You'll be week 6 is probably going to be a really big podcast. We might have a different format just to meet that podcast means. We got to make sure we don't blow out our voices and give me too much editing, because that would be a tragedy, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it, Gamma?
Just a little bit.
How's it feel with a lot of editing, Gamma?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying in terms of the effort. I'm not calling you out on being behind. Oh God, he's going Miltank mode.
It's hard.
It is. It really is. He handles 5 voices. I only handle myself and Gamma, and the unique thing for Gamma and I is we have cameras on, so we know when we're talking to each other, whereas when everybody's kind of like trying to talk over each other, like that, I have to cut out. You're not going to hear it because I've already cut it out. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, so you're not going to hear me talking over Noob right now. He's
got him. That's all being cut out, right? I'm just going to leave it as one empty void, and everyone's going to know exactly what you were trying to do, and it's gone.
Oh, no.
Power to the editor. Thank you very much for listening once again, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode, and we'll see you at Pro Pokeball Week 6, August 28th. Take care, and peace.
Later, guys.